welcome to the latest Local Women Magazine podcast. Two of my favourite things we're talking about today, wine and cheese. And with me, Ciaran Meyler from United Wines, who will be talking about McGuigan's Australian wine.
Yes.
And Mark Wright, who I met at Balmoral, Ballylisk Cheese in Armagh. And I am looking forward to tasting and sampling this cheese as well. So you're both very welcome.
Yes. Brilliant, thanks for having us
so,
again,
we are going to be talking about pairings and what will work well together, and it is fascinating. First of all, I just want you to tell me a little bit about the products we have here today. Ciaran, first of all, you've brought in McGuigan's, a really well-known brand in Northern Ireland, and tell me about the background to it, please.
Phenomenally well-known brand, as you said. Brian McGuigan was in the wine industry for decades, working for other companies, and in the early 90s, he decided to form his own business, McGuigan Wines, and one of the first markets that he targeted was Europe. Australia had just done a deal in the 60s with the EU, so it made it more accessible. And he always jokes about the fact that he looked up the Irish telephone directory and half the Macs from McGuigan's. Yeah. So he thought, well, this is going to be easy enough here. We'll target this market initially. And it's just going from strength to strength. It was initially launched in the market by a small independent wholesaler from Port Stewart. And then United Wines took on the agency. We have it maybe about 20 years now. It's arguably the most popular wine in the marketplace. There's no statistics for the market. We sell about 1.4 million bottles in Northern Ireland. There's 28 million bottles in the UK alone. So it's literally one bottle every second.
Wow.
So it shows the popularity of it.
Both red and white?
Both red and white, across the range, across all the McGuigan's brands. Brian's brother, Neil, was the winemaker, and he just has a simple philosophy to it. Like, life is complicated enough. Why would wine be complicated?
That's good.
So it simplifies the wine drinking, and that's why they introduced a lot of people into wine drinking. Yeah. Maybe I've said in the past, historically, people would have drank from regions in Europe, so it was very confusing and difficult. Didn't know the grape varieties. McGuigan's is just a family name, and it's the varietal. If you like a Sauvignon Blanc, you like a Cabernet, you like a Shiraz, and consistency is one of the most important things to them as a wine producer, across all range of varietals in different regions within Australia.
Okay, thank you very much. And Mark, I can actually smell these wonderful cheeses. If we were in here right now, the most beautiful smell. I met you obviously at Balmoral. Yes. You had a huge audience there at Balmoral. Your business based in Armagh, and it's artisan cheese.
Yes, we're in the heart of County Armagh, and actually Ballylisk is where I grew up. The family farm is located there, and if you look at the brand, you'll see there's a sort of a Celticized sort of version of a rose. We introduced that into the brand and the names for the cheeses. Where that comes from is Ballylisk is also, or is probably most famous for the McGreedy rose farm. So we have incorporated a lot of that sort of local stuff into our brand. You also see it says 1820. Clearly haven't been making cheese since 1820, but that's when the first land came into family ownership. With regard to about Ballylisk, and as I say, the County Armagh piece, a lot of really good stuff going on there with food and drink, especially all the apple growers, cider, lovely pasture land there. And that was sort of the start point for the cheese, was the really high quality milk. My late brother, who was a successful dairy farmer, we sort of started the business together. And as I say, that really high quality milk, it was to add a bit of extra value and do something else with it other than let it go into the bulk milk pool. So the three cheeses that we have here today, we have a brie. Now, for me, the brie best shows off the quality of the milk because we don't add anything else into it.
Okay.
The other two cheeses are what I would call triple creams, made exactly the same way as brie. One's unsmoked. That was the first cheese we made. And the other one is lightly smoked. As I say, a lot of extra fresh cream goes into the milk. And what that does to the cheese, it gives it a real sort of indulgent, rich, buttery sort of taste and a lovely velvety aftertaste.
Yeah,
So I'm really looking forard to seeing what Ciaran has brought and how they all sort of match up together. Really exciting.
Even cutting through it, it's just that lovely velvety creaminess. You can see it coming through. Okay, gentlemen, let's start with my favourite, a white Sauvignon. So tell us about what we're about to sample here, and then we'll get Mark to pair it with the cheese.
The most popular white grape variety in the UK and Ireland, Sauvignon Blanc. We're absolutely in love with it. The winemaker loves it. The consumer loves it. It's quite easy to cultivate. Gives a good yield, and it can be very, very expressive in the glass. It's very aromatic. Reading the tasting notes on this first cheese from Mark, there's citrus characteristics, and some people might think it's unusual to pair white wine with cheese, but mild citrus-based cheeses, acidity matches really well with acidity. One neutralises the other, and it complements it, so it'll help bring out the creaminess of the cheese. The best thing to do when you're tasting wine and fruit is to taste the wine first of all on its own and allow that to coat your palate, and then taste a little bit of the cheese on its own and then taste the two of them together and see how one complements the other, see how one elevates the other completely. And that's what I'm hoping will happen here anyway after reading the notes on it. So
Mark, this cheese here, this is your triple cream.
That's correct. That's the first cheese we made, triple cream, made the same way as brie. You can see the sort of the colour of the paste, etc. Very very similar, but this is more rich and buttery than brie. Unashamedly, it's indulgent, and I would sort of say that this is a Saturday night cheese, not a Wednesday night cheese.
This is if I'm having the girls in on a Saturday night. Yeah,
that was something very new that we made. We had done quite a lot of homework, had a lot of conversations, a lot of sort of low key market research, and we felt there was a gap for something like this. So as I say, that was developed from scratch, and I say we're happy how it has progressed.
So I like to eat cheese without anything. I just like to nibble at bits of cheese, and so does my mum. So you have got biscuits. You've got some nice biscuits there and some chutney as well. I'm going to pass this across and let you guys can take your cheese. I'm happy to just take the cheese on its own. But what you were saying, Ciaran, is the first thing to do is to let the wine sort of savor the wine before you eat the cheese.
Absolutely, we'll taste the wine first on its own. Just
okay.
And as I said before, there is a difference between drinking wine and tasting wine. Most people will always know how to drink wine. With tasting wine, you're assessing the quality of it. It should be clear, it's bright, and give it a good swirl around the glass. These are professional tasting glasses.
Yep.
You do pick up those citrus aromas immediately.
Absolutely.
Right away. Sometimes the characteristics of Sauvignon Blanc, there's a little bit of lemon, there can be white grapefruit, there can be gooseberries, pineapples, an array of those flavours. And we taste acidity more towards the back of our mouth. So when you taste the wine, first of all, you will get that lovely mouthwater and acidity, not aggressively acidic. And then in the middle palate, you get all the fruit. And then the alcohol gives the wine a little bit of weight in the mouth.
Okay.
The texture is really important, especially when you're matching it with food. Because the texture of this cheese, as Mark alluded to, is going to be quite indulgent, quite creamy, quite full flavoured.
So then you've got the sharpness of the white wine as well.
Absolutely, the acidity to cut through. Well, cheese has a lot of acidity as well too, so the lactose acidity.
Yeah, see what you mean about it going to the hitting the back.
It's the first wine of the day, so sometimes it's a bit of a shock to the palate. But it's lovely. It is nice mouthwater and acidity. You put your tongue around your gums, there's that little bit of texture there from the fruit concentration. And the wine lingers on. When wine lingers on for a good 40, 50 seconds afterwards, it's an indication of the quality. There's a bit of depth, a bit of richness there. Less expensive wines will finish a lot quicker.
I've actually tasted my cheese along with that already. That is gorgeous, Mark. That is just... It's like there's a little bit of mature kick almost to it, isn't there, as well?
Yes, part of the people say quite a lot. Should you eat the sort of the white skin, let's call it?
Yeah.
Rind, some people would describe it. I would say absolutely yes. That forms part of the overall flavour context of the cheese, and that starts off life. That's a white mould that a culture that we put into the milk whenever we're making the cheese. And whenever those cheeses are sort of maturing or ripening, what sort of good looks like, or what we're looking for, is they look like the mold grows and it looks like cotton wool on the cheeses. Now, when they're packed, that's obviously the compression of the paper, and the packing process reduces that sort of cotton wool style appearance down into that white mold. But that's what gives it part of that sort of flavour context.
Even holding it in my hand, it's almost melting. It's just so soft. It's beautiful. Yeah.
And just as Ciaran has described the wine, I thought really well. The cheese as well. There are different sort of, I suppose, flavour characteristics. And it goes from the initial sort of cheese and rich sort of flavour to through, I think, what you were picking up with the white mould. And the lingering piece, I suppose, the parallel for the wine is the velvety aftertaste, which is what we're looking for. And if you look at our process, I mean, one of the things about ripening the cheese, the actual ripening part of it is really important. It's a mix of humidity and temperature, and one does not work without the other. So if the temperature was too high and humidity too low, you probably wouldn't be getting that velvet. The cheese would be too dry and a wee bit hard. It's not...
there's nothing hard about that. It absolutely is beautiful. Yeah. It's velvety, it's soft, it melts in your mouth.
The cheese in itself actually softens up the wine. The acidity is not as obvious in the wine at all.
And
the fruit comes more to the fore.
Yeah.
And it does enhance the creaminess of the cheese.
Yeah.
It magnifies it when you have the two together.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing about food and wine matching that people miss. Sometimes they just fire it into you, as I would say. Where
Yeah,
I was
well, you
coming
need
from,
to
and
really
drinking wine.
savour it, don't
If
you?
you stop and think about it, and just think about it at the start, okay, you don't have to think about it all night, then you enjoy it.
Yeah.
But you can see how the flavours will complement each other. And it's one of the most civilised things in the world. Obviously, we learned mostly from France.
Yes.
And they have a different cheese for every day of the year.
Yes.
And the food neutralises the fat in the cheese and aids digestion, and
Yeah.
lots of medical research to say that it's beneficial even.
It's very beneficial.
Yeah.
I love
so-
the way the taste of the fruit comes out, and I also really like. There's a wee. I'm going to say, and again, I'm not a professional sort of wine connoisseur. I enjoy it very much. There's a wee dryness, not too sweet for me, which I really like. And for me, this cheese is rich, so it is. It's unashamedly indulgent, and it cuts through that the fat that's naturally
Yes.
in the cheese. It cuts through it really well. So it's super.
So we take a drink of our wine first, then we savour our cheese, whether we have it in a cracker or not, or just like myself, just as it is. So that is a Sauvignon Blanc alongside a triple cream cheese.
And this is
Very
McGuigan's
good.
Reserve. This is their elevated range.
Okay.
The Black Label we're going to taste next as well too. All available in a wide range of spars and independents throughout Northern Ireland.
As a matter of interest, guys, the cost of the wine and the cheese, what did the retail at?
The Reserve range retails around about $8.99, and the Black Label range is about $7.99 when they're on promotion.
Okay, and your
And I would
cheese?
say, I think, Denise, that triple cream cheese, that small 130 gram one, which is the sort of the retail size, I think circa £6.50.
That's great.
Yeah, I think it's
That's a nice
for
night,
a really for something good and something luxury. I think it's
It is. It's an
fairly
artisan
priced, yeah.
cheese. Yes. So and maybe some grapes and
Absolutely.
some good company.
£14-15 you're set up for the night as well too, yeah.
That's it. Okay, so Ciaran, you mentioned we're going to go next to a Cabernet Sauvignon, the Black
right,
Label,
yes,
which is a very, very well-known label. Yes.
The Black Label range is the most popular range within the portfolio. And this is 100% Cabernet Sauvignon. I've chosen this because it is a French grape. It has its origins in Bordeaux and in southern France.
Okay.
And Cabernet Sauvignon is widely regarded as the greatest grape in the world. It makes the world's most expensive wines in Bordeaux. And again, it's very, very, very easy for the winemaker to cultivate it all over the world. Delivers lots of black fruits, savoury notes, herbaceous notes,
Yeah.
minty eucalyptus.
Like berries as well?
Blackberries, black currants and blackberries as well too, yep. But it finishes quite soft at the same time. So again, give it a wee swirl around the glass and
Well, indeed. Is
Enjoy
this
the
a
nose
best seller
first.
for you? Because this is what I would say McGuigan's are synonymous with, this Black
It's
Label.
synonymous with the Black Label. The Black Label is the one that's the biggest seller without a doubt, yes. And
Okay.
probably about 80% across all the other McGuigan ranges, 80% of the volume would be coming from the Black Label. The same
Okay.
in mainland GB as well too.
Yes.
The consumer has become synonymous with it and they just like the consistency of it all the time. Mm-hmm.
And what should we be smelling here from this?
Blackberries, blackcurrant is the main characteristic of Cabernet
Okay.
Sauvignon regardless.
Yeah.
Inexpensive Cabernet Sauvignons would be like Ribena, and really the best Cabernet Sauvignons
Yes.
would be like the most concentrated creme de cassis you've ever tasted in your life.
Okay.
So that's the difference on different levels of blackcurrant, really.
Yes. Okay.
My waddy to creme de cassis.
My waddy.
This is somewhere in between. So you get those blackberries, and the wine hasn't spent any time in oak at that price point.
Yeah.
Oak is too expensive. Mm-hmm. So you're getting the true expression of the grape. Little bit when you taste it, you hopefully get that little bit of herbaceousness. Eucalyptus is very popular.
Oh, right,
And
okay.
The leaves are deliberately grown over the top of the grapes to stop them from getting burnt in hot temperatures.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes it can pick up that leafy characteristic as well too,
It's like a
which works really, really well
Yeah.
with food, with earthy type foods.
It isn't a lovely smell. I smell like berries from it. Yeah. What about you, Marcus? Yeah.
Lovely.
Your mixed berries that you would have in your porridge in the morning is reminiscent of, not suggesting that you should have this in your porridge in the morning. I just
Depends how bad the teenagers have been.
true, yeah.
So we are going to pair this with one of Mark's cheeses. I mean, obviously the one you're known for as well is the brie. Yes.
Yes,
Alone.
this is our farmhouse brie. As I said, maybe
Said it
just in the
was.
wee intro. For me, this best illustrates the quality of the milk from the farm.
Thank you.
This has no extra cream added to it, and it was the hardest cheese to make because
Oh, right, okay.
there are so many different dairy cultures out there, and what the dairy cultures do, they essentially give the cheese its flavour. But say we all had a herd of cows, so your cow's milk would be slightly different to Ciaran's milk, and all the rest. And there's environmental factors and other factors, you know,
Yes.
genetics, diet, all sorts of things that influence that. So they're all going to react differently with the cultures. So there are 4 different cultures in this, and it was a real process of trial and error. Another thing that I certainly encounter is the kind of the myth of the French brie, which I think is just pure nonsense.
Yeah.
To be completely honest with you. This brie for me stands up against
So the French, of course,
any of the French bries.
they're going to say theirs is better because they invented it. Yes.
Yeah, the sort of thing they did. Look, we could talk about that all day.
Okay, we'll not do it.
What I was going to say for consumers as well, and as a slight aside, if you were looking at the likes of a brie or a brie style cheese, the one indicator that will tell you if there's going to be any flavour is going to be the colour of the paste. And you can see it's a beautiful, creamy, buttery colour.
It's yellowish, yes.
And the consistency of it. And the consistency,
Yeah.
That brie, and as the brie gets a little bit older, it gets naturally more softer. But when the cheese comes out of the fridge, you should probably be left out for about 30 to 40 minutes.
Right, okay.
To let them come up to sort of room temperature.
Yeah.
Then you'll best be able to enjoy them. But there's a nice kind of
Yes.
soft texture in that, as opposed to a hard rubbery texture with some of the, you do get some really sort of cheap bries, and that's
Yeah.
they're not particularly pleasant, I don't think.
That's an Irish brie. In terms of the market, you guys are doing really well, aren't you? In terms of the Irish brie.
We're very happy that people appreciate it. I think for us, we're a younger company than the likes of McGuigan's and I'm sure United Wines. We started our company in 2017, but obviously what happened in between was obviously the pandemic.
Yes.
And that for us changed a lot of things. I think people became more interested in artisan products, local products, and I found post-pandemic actually really positive interest. What I find very stimulating about my own products and how people enjoy them, chefs have been very supportive of us.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
a lot of our cheese ends up in really good hotels and restaurants right across the island of Ireland.
On the cheese board, on the menu, you see your name.
That's really wonderful.
What does that mean to you, to see your name there?
I'm still pinching myself, and I mean that most sincerely. I go to a show, say at Kilkenny, for example, and maybe I'm doing a show there at Halloween, and people go, I had your cheese in such and such a hotel, and I probably haven't been to it, or a restaurant.
Yeah.
And maybe I look it up naturally, and you go, maybe there's a Michelin star or something like this.
Yeah.
Which is incredible for me.
Yeah.
Early in the morning, things don't always go well for you,
Yeah.
but that kind of sustains you.
Yeah. So now you found like the perfect formula for brie, and that would be it.
We're happy.
Yeah.
And this did really well. In 2022, it got 3 gold stars in the Great Taste Awards, which
Brilliant.
is excellent. And it was shortlisted that year for the Golden Forks, which I would sort of say probably they're the Oscars of the food industry. So yes, we've got to where we want it to be. And just as Ciaran made a point earlier about the range, the McGuigan's range, consistency was something that jumped out. That's really important for us as well. It's really important that the likes of, if you're a chef or a head chef in a really fancy restaurant, people are paying a lot of money to dine there. You naturally expect consistency if you're reordering products off us. And what's kind of nice, I suppose, when we're trying to sustain our business is cheese boards, chefs change their menus.
They do.
Some of them, reflect seasonality, etc., etc. If cheese board is being enjoyed and people like it, they tend to kind of stick with it a wee bit for a while, and that's nice. But we have to obviously maintain consistency.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That is lovely. I have to say, although I prefer a white wine, that combination of that brie and
It changes both products. It does for the better. You've got it wrong whenever one overpowers the other.
Yeah.
You know, they've both got complementary flavours. And acidity, I refer to in wine all the time. It's essential. You can't make wine without acidity.
Yeah.
And acidity with acidity in food. The creamy characteristic as well too helps soften up the tannins. There's only a little bit of tannins, only a little bit of dryness in that red wine, not an awful lot. But it makes it more fruity.
It was like the berry and the combination of the berry and the
They come
cheese.
more to the fore,
Wonderful.
right?
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal quality cheese, and as you alluded to, chefs have become very flexible and creative with integrating cheese all throughout the menu, not just on the cheese board, too, which is important. And the starters and the main courses are served on the side with steaks and whatnot, and it's wonderful that way. And they're all very supportive of local products. And
So the one we're going to move on to now, I know you can both smell this cheese and it is delightful. it smells like we've had like a log fire burning or something in the background. That's the smell of the sauna. There's a beautiful smokiness of this final cheese. And I'm going to just actually thank you, Ciaran. You also have from the reserve range here. We're going to talk about this McGuigan's.
This is the Shiraz. Yeah.
This Shiraz.
Australia's most popular grape variety. The Australians a few hundred years ago took the Syrah grape, Syrah, which is a French grape from their own valley. James Busby, actually a Scottish guy who was very, very well versed in oenology and winemaking, worked in New Zealand for a while. He's seen as the godfather in Australia, and he cultivated the Syrah grape in Australia and renamed it Shiraz. The French were very quick to point out to them, look, that's our grape that you took, but they've made it their own because it's the biggest selling red grape variety in the UK and Ireland, Shiraz.
Right, okay.
And consumers will all know Shiraz, but only 45 or 10% would know Syrah, which is their own valley of Côte d'Rône, Chateau de Pape, big full-bodied spicy wines. And one of the most distinctive characteristics of it is spiciness, black pepper, white pepper, depending on where it comes from, and even a smokiness to it as well too. It's often been described as a grape which is sometimes even gamey. Really, so a wide range of full flavoured foods, and immediately when I saw the smoked on this description, I thought, this is going to be a business.
This is going to work well, isn't it?
Yeah,
so we are pairing it with a Ballylisk smoked brie or smoked cream cheese.
Smoked triple cream.
Right, okay.
So, and how that happens is we cold smoke for 3 hours, and we use cherry wood. And I'm introducing that in the sense that I know it sounds a little sort of contradictory, but it's kind of a clean smoke, if you know what I mean, as opposed to like oak, for example. Oak would completely kill that off. It would be much too pungent and oily. Cherry wood's kind of mild, gives a smokiness, but what was really important in the brief for this particular cheese was not to take away or, overpower, overshadow the creaminess of the actual cheese.
Yes.
For me, it really complements it. I think it's very refined. And again, just like the wine, it changes, after you sort of eat it, sort of the taste, the mouthfeel and the linger, etc.
So when you say a mild smoke, it almost, when you open the packet, it smells almost like a smoky bacon.
Yes.
That sort of smoke, not the harsh smoke.
I suppose a lot of people, and I think cheese, some of the, mass-produced cheese, which I enjoy as well, are almost a wee bit like fish. They're sort of dyed as opposed to actual smoked. We use cold smoke. And we'll have little sort of machines.
It's slightly like the taste of like a Bavarian, the Bavarian cheese, that you get. But it's nice when you've got obviously the brie, like the type brie texture coming through, but it does taste like that sort of smoked German cheese.
This is the most pronounced of the three wines, as you see, as the cheese gets progressively fuller, the flavour in the wine, and immediately in the nose, that's very obvious.
Well, the smell is beautiful.
Slightly higher alcohol there, which is making the wine feel quite warm and quite generous on the nose.
Yes.
Those smoky black pepper aromas just catch on the nose right away nicely. And hopefully you're picking through some black and red fruits on the palate as well too, and a wee bit of spiciness in the tip of the tongue when you taste it on its own.
Yeah.
And hopefully that will work perfectly well with it.
This is definitely a wine and cheese combination if you were having a sole wine cheese tasting evening without a full 3-course meal. This is something you do on your own.
It's very popular. I do lots of events, and wine and cheese, if you please, is one of the very popular ones without a doubt. I done one for about 300 people in Campbell College one time, which was anarchy, as you can imagine, because it was just a huge people.
There's a lot of wine and cheese.
And we went to these enormous lengths of putting a little flag on top of every cheese, which was related to the wine.
Yes.
And some people came in and sat down and just went, "Oh, this is lovely." And so we're now on wine number 3 and cheese number 3. Which one's cheese number 3?
Oh.
We had that, but it was probably too big a crowd, but it raised huge amounts of money, so it was a very, very good night.
How do you feel about the smoky cheese pairing with your Shiraz?
Food, like wine, is all about a textural experience, and the depth of flavour and how those flavours integrate with each other is what happens here. You're getting the lovely creaminess of the cheese, and then there's a second flavour. In wine, there's primary flavours, secondary flavours, and tertiary flavours.
Yeah.
It's the same in food. And inexpensive things, just primary flavours, and they're going wham bam alakazam.
Yeah.
I'm sure a simple branded cheese would be going right away. I'm tasting that 2 or 3 times.
I'm tasting it twice
cheese,
at least. Yeah.
Even before I've tasted the wine.
Yeah.
It's magnificent. It's definitely for me the best cheese we've tasted. I love smoky things. I love anything smoky and char grilled, and those characteristics added to it.
Yeah, and actually,
I would agree with that sort of elevated wine, that spiciness, and the maybe slightly higher. Not about alcohol, but the slightly higher alcohol, just that warmth. And, they're for me, it's not heavy, but there's slightly more depth to it, and I think that it works really, really well.
Yeah.
Unbelievable combination.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? And even, I mean, visually, just to look at it, it's sort of like slightly charred. It's like a brie is like, and the top is slightly caramelized almost at the top.
Yeah.
It's a good big portion of cheese as well too.
Yeah.
And that would serve 10, 12 people easy. And
Definitely would.
It's rich, so it is. You don't need a lot. And in fact, I actually think you're going to confuse your mouth a wee bit there, and one thing or
I would eat that without anything else with it. Just definitely.
no, it's a really good combination.
Yeah.
Well, I would put that in a little bit of toasted bread and just roast it in the oven, and maybe some roasted beetroot as well too.
Oh, very nice.
Some walnuts.
What, big caramelised onions or something?
Starter or something, like a French starter. It might be beautiful that way.
And as well, for that particular cheese, a really, really good burger. I mean, really good quality burger.
Right.
You don't need to melt it. It'll render down almost with the heat of
Just on top of it, yeah.
So what do you mean? You put it on the burger as you're cooking
it's
it?
just something. No, I would say after you're about to serve.
Okay, and then put the cheese on it.
The patty's cooked, and then just put the cheese on it and let it render down a wee bit. And,
Yeah.
whatever else you decide to go with, but yeah, works really well.
Yeah.
Good combination, yeah. But
So I have to ask you both, do you have a favourite wine and a favourite cheese out of what we've just sampled today? Or am I putting you on the spot?
not really, no. My favourite wine is all of them. When people ask me that
Yeah,
question,
of course.
it is hard to choose. But for me, it is all about an occasion. I mean, I'm a bit of an anorak. I know what I'm drinking on Saturday night now because I know we're going to have lamb shank or something. So I'll set aside something. So to most people, they're rushing into the store and they're on their way home and they're not necessarily thinking about it so much. But I go to great lengths to pairing. I look at the wine list for half an hour before I look at the food, and all my friends have ordered, and they're all going, "What are you having?" "Oh, I'm so disappointed there isn't duck on the menu because I found an amazing wine that's going to go with duck."
Ah, right, okay.
You know, so that for me is a very different experience altogether. So I do enjoy that, but it is about the occasion, and hopefully that exercise just showed as well too how each different wine matches with the occasion. Mm-hmm. A Tuesday night and a few friends around with a simple pizza. Italian Montepulciano is fantastic, just elevates it.
Yeah.
You know, you're out the back garden and you're preparing a barbecue, a little light rosé that we did before last time.
Yeah.
It's perfect because you're just standing around with friends, mixing and mingling, not too serious.
Yeah.
But you're cooking a Sunday lunch for family and you've spent a lot of money on a good side of beef.
Yeah.
You're opening up a red Bordeaux something. So it varies, it really does.
Yeah. And today what you tasted, you seem to be completely blown away by the Shiraz and the smoked cheese.
Definitely the smoked cheese. I do like smoked foods anyway in general. So I love the smoked cheese. I thought it took the flavour to a different level. They're all fantastic, and as Mark alluded to, the creaminess, the triple cream, that texture experience it gives you. Even when I'm trying to describe wines to people, I would use cream as an analogy all the time. There's skimmed milk, there's semi-skimmed milk, there's full cream milk, and there's double clotted Devon cream.
Yeah.
And that's the same textural experience. Your £5 wine is just skimmed milk.
Yeah.
There's no texture at all. It disappears. And if you're spending a lot of money, double clotted Devon cream just clings around your gum with a good flavor. And you're tasting it, and then you're tasting it again and again. So that's what you get when you elevate up. And you've got exactly the same in the cheeses. These, I've been just completely blown away with them now.
Mark, what about you? What are your thoughts? Because obviously this was you bringing your product and to pair it with McGuigan's today. What do you like the best?
I've enjoyed all the wines as well. And I think Ciaran was absolutely on the money with how he paired everything up and his choices. And I completely concur with everything he said. I don't have the same, I really do enjoy glass wine. I don't have the same knowledge, and it's something to try to build up as I go along, because it does enhance your experience. And I think if you do think about it, I would agree completely. As a layperson, if you do think about what you're going to eat and what you're actually going to drink with it, overall the result will be better. Mm-hmm. I'm going to finish up with exactly the same thing. I mean, I think the three wines were delicious, and they were very, very well paired. But for me, I suppose we kept, I think, the best pairing for the last. I was really pleased with that smoked cheese when we made it. We put a lot of thought into it when we were making it and stuck to a brief. And I think it was an exquisite pairing. And I think for Saturday night, it's a very intelligent pairing. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, it's very classy, isn't it?
In a really good way. And I think it's a match made in heaven.
I agree as well. That last cheese and that wine was just beautiful. So it was.
Top class.
Now, before we go, we need to know where we can get these. If anybody wants to sample the wines and the cheeses together, the best place in Northern Ireland, I'm sure both of you can tell us where we can get these wines.
Nearly every regional town has a small independent, thankfully, left, and our wines will be stocked by those. And then spar shops and wine flower shops. Wine flower, quite a few in the chain as well too. So those are the best places to pick them up locally.
Okay, and they're available all year round?
Oh, absolutely, all year round, yep. All year round,
Okay,
yep.
that's great.
Every day of the week.
We're the same, 12 months a year. We tend to, not all shops are our fit. Independent sort of delis and specialty shops. So you get more of those in sort of Belfast.
Yeah,
all
like
those
maybe
sort
Sawyer's or...
of Sawyer's, Arcadia,
Okay.
Indie Food, Mike's Fancy Cheese.
And in Moira,
Fair.
you've got
Yeah,
McCartney's.
so you have
Yeah,
McCartney's
okay.
and Meat Merchant, I mean, fantastic shops. Places like that, and there are lots of other, as I say, a lot of it goes to high-end hotels and restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, and it's not my job to promote them, but what has worked really well for us is just about a year ago we were listed in Marks and Spencer's throughout Ireland.
Yeah.
With the 3 cheeses, and I'm really pleased how that is going. So sometimes those big retailers bring in new people,
course.
or they refresh their ranges, or they perhaps decide they want to bring in a more artisan sort of section or sort of local. So M&S did that,
Yeah.
and it's been really good actually.
To be in Marks and Spencer's.
Yeah, do you know what? And I think that was really nice. Yes, we were lucky in the sense I wasn't it's not like sort of celeb watching. Doesn't really do it for me. We were very lucky. We got a break early on in our journey, and the triple cream cheese was listed for a number of years with Fortnum & Mason. It did very well there. We've since kind of no longer supply them, and there's reasons for that. But M&S for me, so there's a new team came in. It was really, really good. But for me, it was the outreach.
Yeah.
With people. So when I meet people, it's really nice. I get inquiries sometimes
Yeah.
come through on the internet, and people say, "Look, I had your cheese in a hotel in Wexford or wherever. Where can I get it local to me?"
Yeah.
And it's nice now to say somewhere everyone has kind of access to an M&S food hall. So that has been really nice because there's different parts of the country.
That's lovely.
You know, we run a tiny business, and I've had more time. Maybe I could.
Yeah.
could find
And of course, then you're
find
at Balmoral, and
more
that's where I met you.
Yes, it is. It's a busy place, as you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's great as well. I mean, people say to me, "You give out a lot of samples at somewhere like Balmoral," and yes, I do. But some people actually haven't had this before.
Yes.
I'm sure if Ciaran's out doing tastings, you know, somebody goes, "Oh, I don't like this," or that wouldn't be my thing. And say, "Well, actually, would you try it?
Yeah.
Here's what this is about, and here's what hopefully you'll experience." And then all of a sudden somebody goes, "Well, I will."
Yeah.
I get the same thing all the time. "Oh, I don't like brie."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, we had it before." I said, or whatever.
Or they don't
Or
like the
perhaps-
idea of it.
No, or perhaps they've had a bad experience. And
Yeah.
I said, "Look, please, I'm not going to poison you.
Yeah.
Just try this." And,
Yeah.
and then they go, "That's not too bad." And I go, "Okay, thank you."
Okay, that
Yeah.
customer.
Or I only eat cheddar, or whatever, you know. And look,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with what people like. I have my own tastes as well.
I know, that's great. Listen, thank you so much, gentlemen. That was really, really
for having us.
informative.
Here, here.
And
Thank
what a
you.
lovely morning, tasting wine and cheese.
It's
Your
wonderful.
2 favourite things.
I cancel the diary now.
Yeah, let's head off somewhere. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Pleasure.